Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Bahashem Makakadash, Barakatham, to the elders and apostles, Ma'akim, Ma'akwaf, when I say Shalom. And this is a sit down lesson of the prophecy updates as of April the 11th, 2026, on this Saturday. Yeah, on this Saturday night. And this is from the Miami Herald. It says U.S. and Iran fails to reach an agreement after a marathon peace talks. J.D. Vance says. Vance says Iran do not accept demands. It says, raw story. I thought it was a joke. Mockery. Iran talks collapse while Trump booed at U.S. UFC event. It says Trump booed at USC event as Vance announced negotiations have failed. It says at least 30 dead after visit to mountaintop fortress turns tragic. What's that? What's that? Ecclesiastes 12 verse 14. Isaiah 45 verse 7. It says Ukraine. Yep. Because I believe you had supposedly Sunday, because it was a 2-day ceasefire was announced between Russia and Ukraine. So once this Saturday and Sunday is up for this Easter event, the tensions are only going to escalate once again between Russia and Ukraine. And this is a news article from the Miami Herald, published April the 11th, 2026 at 7:12 p.m. It says Ukraine accused Russia of hundreds of Easter ceasefire violations. It says Kharkiv of Ukraine. It says Ukraine on Saturday accused Russia of hundreds of violations of the Kremlin declared ceasefire over Orthodox Easter. It says Ukrainian general staff said that attacks have continued, recording 469 breaches of the trust, including hundreds of drone strikes, 153 instant shellings, and 22 assault operations. The 32-hour ceasefire ordered by Russia President Vladimir Putin on Thursday was into effect 4 p.m. and was to last through the end of Sunday. It says there were no immediate response from Moscow to allegations. However, authorities in the Russian-controlled city of Kharkiv in the Ukraine's southern Kherson region accused Kharkiv of violation the trust, reporting drone attacks shortly after it was began. It said at least one person was injured. It says Putin has announced the trust as a humanitarian gesture to allow people, both countries, to celebrate Orthodox Easter. Both sides has said that they would respond to any violation, though no such retaliatory actions were initially confirmed in public statement by officials. Early Saturday, President Vladimir Zelensky warns Russia against breaching the ceasefire, saying that Ukraine will only hold fire if Moscow refrains from attacks. As long as there is no Russian attacks in the air or land or at sea, there will be no response for our side, he said, Telegram, as a consultation with the commander-in-chief. It says the Ukraine army is prepared for any developments on the front line. Zelensky added, reiterating a proposal to extend the temporary truce into the broader ceasefire. And the ceasefire at Easter could mark the start of a genuine move towards peace, he said. The Kremlin, however, repeated signals this week that hostiles will resume once the truce expires, so long as Kyiv refused to accept Russia's conditions for the peace, including a withdrawal of the Ukraine forces from the Donbass region. Hours before the ceasefire took effect, overnight drone strikes unalived two people in the region of Odessa regional in the northeastern Shimmer region. Right, so basically, the ceasefire, once this 2 day ceasefire is up, escalation is going to heat up once again. It's going to get back to resuming escalations. So that's an indicator once the ceasefire is up, tensions are only going to continue to increase. It says from the Miami Herald, Trump reacts to China reportedly prepared to shift weapons to Iran. I mean, that might be true because you had Trump earlier today was sending warnings to China if they send nuclear capability to Russia. I mean, if they send nuclear capability to Iran, Trump is saying that they're making a big mistake. So that shows that we've been seeing the alliance between China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and versus versus the United States and their allies. It says from the Miami Herald, Hezbollah urged calm as anti-government protest flares in Beirut. Yeah, that's what you call uproars in people in the world. It says a new war with Israel. Hezbollah defiles notions that it was crippled. Miami Herald reports. Orthodox Easter ceasefire falters as Ukraine says Russia continues drone strikes. It says the Orthodox Easter ceasefire falters as Ukraine says Russian drones will strike. Russia continues drone strikes. As Russia continues to strike Ukraine positions with drones after Kremlin's declared Easter ceasefire took effect Saturday. The Ukrainian, it says the Ukrainian military officer told the Associated Press, casting immediate doubt over the trust. It says the ceasefire is not being observed by Russian side. He said that while artillery fire had paused the sector while the bridges was working at the junction of the Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk and the Zaporizhzhia regions, Russian forces continue to use drones to strike Ukrainian positions. He added that forces responded with silent-to-silent, fire-to-fire. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday declared a 32-hour ceasefire over the Orthodox Eastern weekend, ordering Russian forces to halt hostilities from 4 p.m. Saturday until the end of Sunday. So, as I mentioned again, once end of Sunday, once this Easter event for the Orthodox for both sides, for Russia, Ukraine. So once that's over with, because it ended, I think, end of Sunday. So once that's over with, that shows that escalation is going to heat up once again between Russia and Ukraine. Let's get that Matthew, the 24th chapter. It seemed like they couldn't get their hand off the trigger. Hey, once you had that Orthodox Easter celebration from both sides, from civilians, from Russian side and Ukrainian side, and you had they said they was doing the silent strikes, tit for tat shooting between Russia and Ukraine. They couldn't let their hand off the trigger on both sides. But besides that, hey, once this ceasefire is up, this 2 3 day ceasefire. Once this Easter event is up from the Orthodox of both sides, civilians of Ukraine and Russia. Once that's up, tensions is going to escalate once again. So this is the book of Matthew 24 verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, that's what we hear, wars and rumors of wars between the Israel Defense Force versus Hezbollah. And then tensions heating back up once again between Iran and the United States. Especially the Strait of Hormuz that potentially once again, and then these talks collapse between J.D. Vance and his negotiations and Iran and their negotiations, as Iran claimed that the United States asked for so much demands. One of those proposals they was asking for Iran to stop building nuclear capability, and Iran refused of that. And I believe that another demand was the Strait of Hormuz in that region, and Iran denied that as well too. So they left. So the United States and J.D. Vance and Kushner, both of those, in their negotiations, they left and went back on, left Pakistan and hopped back on the plane, went back to the United States without no deal. So now the main focus is going to be the Strait of Hormuz now. That's what you call oil wars between the United States and Iran, potentially going to heat up once again. Now this 2 week ceasefire now is kind of fragile, so this ceasefire can break at any minute. Because you had Trump was mentioned, he was saying that we won already. How proud and arrogant Nero 47 is. He said we had won this already. So with or without a deal, we're gonna trying to take over the Strait of Hormuz by force. In Iran, they're gonna do the same thing. So this is what you call a oil war. Definitely what's been going on for the past 3 weeks. So we're gonna see that tension might heat up once again, despite the fact it's 2 week ceasefire. It says ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, the proxy groups clashing against one another over there in the Middle East, with Western Asia. Tension is going to heat up once again between Hezbollah over there in Lebanon versus the Israel Defense Force. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, United States. North Korea versus South Korea. China versus Taiwan. China versus the Philippines. China versus Japan. Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? Thailand versus Cambodia. Afghanistan versus Pakistan, despite the fact they had a short-term ceasefire. It says ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, tensions over there in Sudan, tensions heating up over there in Myanmar, and different places around the world. That's only going to continue to increase. And ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not chosen for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Matthew 24 verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, which goes into F notes. It says, there shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so more of the famines and pestilence, more of the earthquakes in various places and diverse places, and more of the kingdom against kingdom and nation against nation, and more wars and rumors of wars. Check out RT.com. It says U.S. make final offer to Iran, Vance leaves Pakistan with no deal. Right, so they rejected the deal. It says a hatchet. It says a hatchet welding intruder damages U.S. military plane in Ireland. What the hell? That's bugged out. What the hell? It says footage shows a man on top of a C-130 Hercules striking it with what appears to be a hatchet or a hammer under Shannon Airport. A man has been arrested after breaching a security at the Ireland Shannon Airport and damages U.S. military aircraft. And the incident briefly will shut down operations, reignite a scrutiny of Washington's long-running use of the facility. It hit the nations up rising up against the burden out of Babylon. Man.
He's hammering the fucking developments. Still hammering the wing. With multiple dents though. Shallow dents. Nobody's going there, man.
I wonder how he reached the security breach. The breach forced Shannon to suspend operations, with two departed flights delayed, and the oncoming aircraft from the largest France placed in a holding pattern before airports resumed normal operation at 10:15. It says it remains unclear whether the attack was motivated by the U.S. campaign against Iran, most likely. But Shannon Airport has repeatedly in cruises links to the opposition to the airports, right? And that do make sense because ever since like the war was going on between Iran and the United States, that kind of affect the citizens in these countries because they depend on oil, fuel, and oil and stuff like that. So it might draw attention when it comes to that, because you do got those protesters over there in Ireland. They are in the uproar, especially with this oil situation. It's the book of this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. Luke 21 verse 25. It says, "There shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity." Verse 1. Right, so that's what we're seeing. The nations are in distress and perplexity with protests, uprises. And that's only going to continue to increase. It says Israel pushes a United Nations over the flaming IDF heroes. It says Ukrainian draft and forces beat and drag man from apartment entrance. It says a footage shows 5 recruiters hailing and resident away as he prosperity volunteers beg for help. A Ukrainian man was violently sieged and beaten by conscription officers in the southern city of Odessa, according to the footage circulating online in the latest incident of highlighting a brutality of the mobilization drive. Right, we've been seeing this for the past couple of years, ever since the war between Russia and Ukraine been heating up from February of 2022 all into now. As been more recruiting of more more people being recruited in this army. And this is a prime example going to happen to Version out of Babylon. Now they got over here in the Version out of Babylon about this military recruitment that's going to be automatically, I believe, starting December 2026. And so this is a preview sign of what's to come over here in the Version out of Babylon. And it goes right along with that Joel 3rd chapter. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Check out the time of Israel. Then I'm gonna close it out. Just a quick prophecy updates. Yep, so that's about it. Yep, so with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying of the prophecy updates as of April the 11th, 2026, on this Saturday night. So hopefully this was an edifying prophecy updates, April the 11th, 2026, on this Saturday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Baruch HaKadosh, and the Heavenly Father. The true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Ba'Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The Lashdash, the Holy Tongue, and I say Barak them to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Akwaf. Until next time, I say Shalom.